I was 5 when the G family adopted me, but 10 years later, they found out that the day they adopted me, their real daughter was actually there too. 有一天, they just chose me that day. I was supposed to be the one to die in place of their real daughter. After that, they were filled with regret. They wished I'd never appeared in their lives. GZ stood by and did nothing every time I was wrongly accused. Smile, you love smiling, don't you? Back then, if you hadn't smiled at me with that disgusting face, I would have chosen Ying. G Shanshan, you killed Ying, you did this. When he found out I was pregnant with his child, GZ forced me onto the operating table. That time I died along with my baby. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day they came to the orphanage. Shanshan, what are you doing hiding up here? The caretaker rushed up and carried me down from the rooftop. Miss Lin, I don't want to go. Miss Lin gently patted the back of my hand. Silly child, the richest family in the city is here today. If they choose you, you'll never have to worry about anything again. Make sure you smile, okay? My heart sank. I remembered how GZ in my past life acted like a lunatic, demanding I smile, no matter what. When I was falsely accused of stealing, he made me smile. When rumors were spread about me, he made me smile. Even when he found out I was pregnant with his child. He just stayed silent for a moment, then told me to smile. To smile while I got rid of the baby. I pressed my lips together. When the luxury car pulled up, I hid in the storage room. This time, I absolutely, positively, definitely, won't have anything to do with the G family. I don't know how long passed before I fell asleep. When they found me, I heard the G family hadn't adopted anyone. I didn't know why, but I didn't care either. That night, I lay in bed looking at my 30 roommates. I had no idea who the G family's real daughter was. According to the G family, their real daughter was right here. I didn't want much contact with the G family, but in my past life during the first 10 years after they adopted me, Mr. G, Mrs. G, and GZ were all really good to me. I thought if their real daughter could return to them this time, it would repay them for how they treated me in my past life. But before I could do anything, the G family came back a second time. All of us 5 and 6-year-old girls were asked to give blood samples. This never happened in my past life. After the blood draw, I saw GZ walking toward me with a cold expression. My heart skipped a beat. I heard this blood test was the young master's idea. Did GZ get reborn too? I looked down and stepped aside. A pair of expensive sneakers paused in front of me, then kept walking. The next day, I noticed one roommate was gone. From what I remember, that little girl was quiet. She cried a lot, a real crybaby. I never thought that crybaby was the G family's real daughter. A couple days of peace, then the G family showed up again. This time, they said they wanted to adopt a companion for their daughter. And this time, I didn't escape. All of us, including me, lined up in a row, waiting for the G family to choose. First to step out of the car was the G family's eldest daughter. The former crybaby had become everyone's protected little princess. GZ carried her the whole way, only putting her down when they reached us. Little sister! Many people crowded around Ji Ying, their eyes full of excitement. We were all young, but every kid here was sharp. Everyone knew. If they could go with Ji Ying today, they'd get to wear pretty dresses, live in a big house, and have people wait on them. Everyone stared eagerly at Ji Ying, but for some reason, Ji Ying stopped in front of me. My heart raced, my hands moved faster than my mind. I pushed Ji Ying down. Ji Ying! Shanshan! Ying! That day, the director made me face the wall for 3 hours. I thought after that push, the Ji family would never adopt me. But 3 days later, I got into the Ji family's luxury car. The director said the Ji family adopted me. All the paperwork was done. I was stunned, but it was done. I had to accept it. At least Ji Ying was easy to get along with, and Mr. and Mrs. J were kind to me, just like in the first 10 years of my past life. The coldest person toward me was GZ. He barely spoke to me, but sometimes I'd catch him silently watching me. A few days later at dinner, I heard GZ suggest to Mr. and Mrs. G, "Dad, let's install heating at the orphanage." I froze and looked down. I'd actually been worrying about how to prevent the tragedy from my past life. In my past life, the orphanage caught fire because of faulty electric blankets. The orphanage never had enough money. One electric blanket would last 10 years. Good idea. That's my oversight. They took care of Ying for years. We should show our appreciation. This time, the Ji family not only installed heating but donated $10 million. I never imagined the solution I racked my brain for would be solved with one sentence from GZ. I still avoided GZ, but honestly, I was grateful to him. Setting aside our past life grudges, GZ's rebirth really did change things for a lot of unfortunate people. In the blink of an eye, Ji Ying and I were high school age. These years in the J household were calm and comfortable. With Ji Ying back, the Ji family business was even bigger than in my past life. GZ was still in college but already interning at the company. Over the years, GZ and I barely interacted. Besides me deliberately avoiding him, GZ was always cold toward me. It was a stark contrast to how he doted on Jiaying. Mr. Ji, Mrs. Jia, and Jiaying all felt bad about it. Especially Jiaying. She'd been a crybaby since childhood. I also knew the reason the Ji family adopted me was to have someone look after Jiaying. So all these years, besides studying, my life revolved around Jiaying. No matter what, I always put Jiaying first. And Jiaying really depended on me. So, when everyone heard I wanted to go to First High, Mr. and Mrs. Jiao, even GZ looked at me in surprise. Shan, why do you suddenly want to go to First High? Yeah, your grades are good, but with our kind of family, there's really no need to work that hard. Jiaying nodded repeatedly, tears in her eyes. I clenched my hands. Right, kids from families like the Jis don't need to take the hardest path. They plan out their kids' whole lives early on. Elite schools, then study abroad. Especially with Jizi being so outstanding. As long as Jiaying and I behaved, we'd live worry-free for life. But I didn't want that. This life, I wanted to live for myself. So for the first time, the usually obedient me became stubborn. The whole Ji family took turns trying to convince me, but I still refused. I didn't expect GZ to help me. He said, let her do what she wants. Those 3 words got me into the city's top high school. After starting high school, I left early and came home late. Even after evening study hall, I'd stay late before heading home. Once, a classmate saw the Ji family driver drop me off at the gate. So I refused the driver's rides and insisted on taking the bus to school. Mr. and Mrs. Ji didn't understand, but they respected my choice. At first, being apart from Jiaying felt strange. But I was quickly swamped by the heavy workload. After evening study hall one night, I couldn't figure out a problem and looked up a bunch of resources. When the security guard came to find me, I realized it was almost 11. When I rushed to the bus stop, the last bus was long gone. At least in this life, the Ji family never treated me badly. I tried not to spend the Ji family's money much, but my bank account always had at least 7 figures. I used the rideshare app to get a car. As soon as I got in, I noticed the driver looking at me strangely. Still in school, ha! His voice sounded creepy. Our school requires uniforms. So his question had bad intentions. I gave a brief response and set an alarm on my phone. The alarm would go off in 1 minute. Suddenly, my phone rang. I thought it was the alarm, but it was GZ calling. I hesitated, then answered. Where are you? His voice was low. I stayed silent. You're just heading home now? In a cab? I gave a soft yes. Send me the license plate number. Where are you now? I looked outside and gave him an address. It happened to be the entrance to a night market, still pretty crowded. Get out now. Wait there. I'm coming to get you. No, I can get home myself. I kept refusing. He went silent for a moment, then hung up. Right after he hung up, GZ sent a text. License plate number. I had no choice but to send it. The car was quiet for a while. When we arrived, I saw someone standing at the corner, from far away. When he saw me get out, GZ silently turned around. I quietly followed behind him. Suddenly, out of nowhere, GZ spoke. Are you afraid of me? I stopped in my tracks. In my past life, the truth about Jiaying being at the orphanage came out around this time. Back then, I faced the cold stares of Mr. and Mrs. Ji and GZ's hatred. Overnight, I went from their precious jewel to a stray dog. I still went to the elite school, and those classmates knew how to read the room. Once they knew the Ji family despised me, I faced endless trouble. Snakes appearing in my backpack. Glue on my chair. All kinds of pranks. At first, they were careful because of the Ji family and GZ. But when they realized the Ji family and GZ wouldn't intervene, those so-called pranks got worse. Then at a classmate's birthday party, I was drunk. By the time I realized it, it was too late. That night, I stumbled into GZ's room. This made Ji, who already hated me, wish I was dead. He didn't need cruel words, he didn't need to do anything. Just one icy, disgusted look from him made me feel frozen to the bone. Mrs. Ji said I was too evil, too desperate to cling to the Ji family's well, that I was obsessed with becoming a Ji family daughter-in-law. Mrs. Ji said the Ji family must have done something terrible in a past life to owe me. So this life, I came to collect the debt. Each word was like a knife slowly cutting into my heart. I wanted to leave, I wanted to run, I wanted to escape. But I had nowhere to go, I had no money. Eventually, I gathered the courage to leave the Ji family. But I had no degree, no skills. I could only find work at a bubble tea shop, barely scraping. But all of that came to a sudden end when they found out I was pregnant. GZ forced me onto the operating table. He said he wouldn't let me have his child. It made him sick. I begged GZ. Once, I had a cut that wouldn't stop bleeding. The doctor told me my blood doesn't clot well. Any wound, if not treated quickly, could kill me. Plus, I really wasn't a good candidate for this surgery. But Jizi still forced me onto the operating table. Of course I didn't make it through. But in my past life, right before I died, I wasn't scared at all. It felt like leaving this world might actually be a good thing. I was wrapped up in memories from my past life. I didn't notice Jizi had already stopped walking. I crashed right into him. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I stepped back quickly, apologizing to Jizi with my head down. He was wearing a camel-colored trench coat. Behind his gold-rimmed glasses, his eyes were unreal. After a while, he just turned and walked away without a word. But that night was just a small blip. What came next was way more coursework pressure. Unlike my past life, the schedule at number 1 high was intense. By sophomore year, we'd already covered all the junior year material. After that, it was just endless practice tests. For summer break between sophomore and junior year, we only got 3 days off. 3 days later, we had to come back for extra classes. But Ji Ying had already made plans to travel abroad with classmates. Shanshan, I thought now that summer break was finally here, you could spend more time with me. Why do you still have extra classes? Ji Ying's spot at an overseas school was already set. She just had to graduate high school and she could study abroad. I smiled and turned around. Number 1 high has always been like this. But I haven't gotten to hang out with you in forever. Ji Ying sounded a little down. Before high school, we were practically inseparable. Except for bathroom breaks, we even slept together. I got why Ji Ying felt let down. It's fine, have a great time. When you see fun stuff, or good food, send it to me, okay? It'll be like I'm there with you. I mentioned. I was curious about life abroad too. I wanted to go. But I couldn't. I wasn't smart enough. I had to give everything I had just to barely stay in the top 3 of my grade. I couldn't slack off for even a second. And even ranking in the top 3, I was still ranked after 200 on the regional exam. Not enough. My efforts still weren't enough. After Ji Ying left, I just moved into the school dorm. That way I could study at least an extra hour every day. Of course, Mrs. J wasn't too happy about it at first. But she agreed eventually. Every day of junior year, I wished I could turn 1 day into 2. Except for going home 1 night a week, I spent all my time at school. During that time, I barely saw GZ. Every time I went home, I'd hear Mrs. J going on and on, saying she didn't know if GZ was gay or something, since he wouldn't even get a girlfriend. Every time Mrs. G said that, Ji Ying would crack up laughing. School gave us 3 days off. Ji Ying came to the school gate right away to wait for me. I thought Ji Ying came in the family driver's car to pick me up. But when I walked out, I saw GZ sitting in a Maybach. In a black tailored suit, paired with GZ's cold, composed face. Walking out the gate, I saw plenty of girls standing around stealing glances his way. I held my books up higher, about to avoid them, but Ji Ying had already spotted me. Shanshan. Ji Ying's voice was sweet and cheery. She pushed open the door and grabbed me. Shanshan, we're over here. Did studying make you dumb? We have this huge car parked right here and you didn't even see it. Then she pulled me along and pushed me into the car. Bro, let's go. I want to eat at that hot pot place. Jia Ying said the mall had a new hot pot restaurant. The broth was great and so were the ingredients. When we got there, the hot pot place was packed. We waited over an hour before it was our turn. Shanshan, what kind of broth do you want? I'm fine with anything. I shifted in my seat, a little uncomfortable. Ji Ying wanted to order tomato broth and spicy broth, but GZ ended up changing one. He swapped the spicy broth for mushroom. I quietly breathed a sigh of relief. My stomach had been acting up lately. Even though I tried to eat on time every day, when my stomach hurt, it was unbearable. After we ate, we all went back to the J house. With exams coming up, Ji Ying wasn't as clingy as before when I came home. Instead, she tactfully left me alone. But then my stomach started hurting, more and more. At first, I thought it was food poisoning, so I went to the bathroom a few times. When that didn't help, I dug out my painkillers and took some. The painkillers worked well. After taking them, I could get back to studying normally. Over the next few days, Mrs. G wanted me to stay home. She said she could make me nutritious meals. I hesitated, but turned her down. For the college entrance exam, I was lucky enough to be assigned to my own school's testing site. Over those 3 days, I used up every last bit of energy I had. When I got home, I slept until the next day. Probably because I hadn't eaten in so long, I woke up from stomach pain. I was about to go out and find something to eat. But, when I opened the door, I saw GZ leaning against it, smoking. When he saw me, we both froze for a second. Mom wants you to come down for dinner. GZ's voice was flat. He turned and put out his cigarette. I nodded. Okay. We went downstairs one after the other. At dinner, everyone asked me how the exam went. Honestly, I thought it went okay. But I didn't want to jinx it, so I just said, it should be okay. Ji Ying put some food in my bowl. Shanshan definitely did great. We've all seen how hard you've worked these 3 years. Shanshan, you'll definitely get into things where Peking University. My chopsticks paused midair. I smiled and nodded. The day scores came out. The whole G family stayed home. Ji Ying even convinced GZ to stay. The moment I entered my ID number and exam ticket number, my score was blocked. Oh, Shanshan, you're amazing. We all know scores for the top 50 in the province get blocked. Ji Ying gave me a huge hug. I reached out with shaking hands and hugged Ji Ying back. Next came class reunions and filling out college applications. But this time, my choice shocked the G family all over again. Because I applied to Harbin Institute of Technology, Mrs. G couldn't understand why I'd pass up Peking University to go to Harbin Institute of Technology. Plus Peking University was right in our neighborhood. Why go to a school thousands of miles away? Mrs. G was definitely upset. She even cancelled the trip she'd promised. In the end, Ji Ying convinced her mom again. Ji Ying is really great, even though she often didn't understand my choices either. She still respected. I've thanked Ji's more than once. Thanked him for bringing Ji Ying home right away after being reborn. The day of the class reunion, several guys confessed to me, but I turned them all down. After that, I went to Milan with Ji Ying. It was Ji Ying's first time there too. This was a trip just for the two of us. After we got back from abroad, I went back to the orphanage. The director still remembered me. When she found out I got into college, tears nearly fell from her eyes. Good. After she calmed down, she asked me if the D family treated me well. I nodded. Yes. Very well. In this life, things really were very, very good. 2 weeks before school started, Ji Ying got on a plane to go abroad. That night, I packed my luggage too. Mrs. G couldn't understand again why I needed to go to school so early. That night, passing by Mrs. G's room, I faintly heard her say, "In the end, she's not my real daughter. No matter how much you give, how much you do, you can't win her over." Back in my room, I didn't turn on the light. I just sat there in the dark all night. The next day, the G family wanted to take me to the airport. I couldn't say no. G's drove. Mr. J and Mrs. J came too. The whole way, Mrs. G kept telling me to eat well when I got there. Not to work too hard, not to date too early, not to push myself. I patiently responded to everything. At the airport, I waved goodbye to them one by one. I was about to take my suitcase from GZ, but he avoided my hand. "Let's go." I was confused, watching GZ walk into the terminal with me. Then we got on the plane together. On the plane, looking at GZ next to me, I still couldn't process it. "What? Are you stunned?" GZ tucked the pillow behind my neck. I shook my head and put on my headphones. On the plane, my body stayed stiff the whole time. Luckily, 2 hours later, the plane landed. GZ took me to campus, helped me finish all my enrollment paperwork, then carried my suitcase up to my dorm. At first, my roommates thought GZ was my boyfriend. But after GZ left when they found out he was my brother, they all jokingly asked me to give them his WeChat. Actually, in this life, GZ and I barely interacted. We probably hadn't even spoken 100 sentences total. I knew GZ probably hated me, so I always kept my distance from him. I'd never even smiled at GZ. Not just GZ, I kept my distance from everyone. In my past life, he hated that I smiled at him when I was 5, making him choose me. The reborn GZ probably hated my smile too. So at the J house, around them, I was always tense. Only around Ji Ying could I relax a little. Now, far away from Beijing, I finally breathed easier. I thought being here, far from Beijing, I could have a new life. At least I wouldn't have to constantly think about my past life. College life was busy and fulfilling for me. The only hard part was every new year, I had to rack my brain coming up with different excuses not to go back. At first, Ji Ying was always disappointed she couldn't see me. By the second year, when I still didn't go back, she called me very seriously. "Shan, what's going on with you? It feels like you just went to college, but you're trying to cut ties with our family." I gripped my phone tight, not knowing what to say. When Ji Ying couldn't convince me, she hung up sounding dejected. 11. In my dorm, I made myself a bowl of instant noodles. This was my second year staying at school alone for New Year's. All my roommates went home. It was just me again. I'd caught a cold a few days ago and still wasn't better. After eating the noodles, I took out some cold medicine. I touched my forehead, felt like I still had a fever. I wondered if the Ji family had eaten their New Year's Eve dinner yet. I didn't know what. When I was the one who wanted to run away from there. Yet now, I was thinking about the warm orange glow of the J house and the laughter from past New Year's Eve dinners. I guess I must be sick. Being sick makes you vulnerable. It makes you want things that don't belong to you. After eating, I lay on my bed in a daze. Occasionally I heard firecrackers outside. I forced myself to close my eyes. Suddenly, my phone rang. I looked, it was Ji Ying. "Hello. Shan, come down now." I shout out from my bed. "Shan, come down. I'm right outside your school." I froze for a second, grabbed my coat and ran out. In the distance, I saw a few figures standing at the gate. I stopped in my tracks, but Ji Ying had clearly seen me already. "Shan." I rushed over. I saw Ji Ying, Mr. G, Mrs. G, even GZ standing at the gate. My eyes got hot. Suddenly I felt like I'd been so selfish. Seeing me cry, Ji Ying looked happy. She hugged me tight. "You little brat, I knew you'd miss me." The moment I hugged Ji Ying tightly, I felt someone's gaze on me. Kept falling on me. I didn't look up. That time, I went with everyone to stay at a hotel suite. Ji Ying quickly noticed something was wrong with me and forcefully dragged me to the hospital. After all the tests, not only did I have to stay for an IV, but I needed 3 straight days of treatment. Ji Ying said they were lucky they got there in time. Otherwise, during New Year's, you'd be stuck here alone, all by yourself with a fever. What would you do? Ji Ying always shows up when I need her most. I thought it was just a cold. But on the 3rd day, everything went black and I suddenly lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was in the ICU. The doctor said I had acute kidney failure. Besides dialysis, the only way to survive is a kidney transplant. I stared blankly at the ceiling. I don't understand why fate would play this cruel joke on me. I've been trying so hard to break free from the Ji family and live my own life. I got into a good college. And in 2 years I could start working. But now, everything seems hopeless. After moving to a regular room, I saw Ji Ying's eyes were swollen from crying. School was starting, but she wouldn't go. She took extended leave just to stay by my side. I was transferred to a hospital in Beijing. The Ji family put me on the waiting list for a kidney. But who knows when a kidney will become available. I never expected Ji Ying to secretly get tested for compatibility behind our backs. And it was a match. I lay in bed, listening to Ji Ying's mother screaming hysterically in the hallway. Ji Ying, have you thought about what your life will be like with only one kidney? You could end up like Shan Shan with the same condition. Who would save you then? Enough. Don't tell me losing one kidney won't make a difference. Ji Ying, you're still young. You have your whole life ahead of you. I won't allow you to do something so foolish. Tears rolled down my face. Ji Ying, I won't allow you to do this either. When no one from the Ji family was around, I packed up and left the hospital. I had nowhere to go, and I didn't want the Ji family to know where I was. I couldn't even take trains or planes. I took an unlicensed cab to the next city. There were no mountains or ocean here. It wasn't a city I liked. But I didn't want to spend more money, so I couldn't go anywhere farther. I thought if I just studied hard and worked after graduation, I could earn money to pay back everything the Ji family spent on me over the years. But now, clearly, I can't do that anymore. Since childhood, I had everything Ji Ying had. All kinds of tutoring, piano lessons, dance classes. The Ji family spent at least 200,000 on me. Now that I'm sick, even if I use all my strength, I probably can't earn much. I guess I'll owe the Ji family for the rest of my life. I rented a small room in the narrow alley. To look somewhat normal, I got a job at a flower shop wrapping bouquets. Working at a bubble tea shop or something like that was definitely out. I can't even get a basic health certificate now. The flower shop job wasn't long, 6 hours a day and not tiring. But every time I returned to my rental, I felt so lonely. Before, I could put all my energy into studying, because I still had a future. But now, there's no future. Working hard at studying seems pointless now. It was Valentine's Day. The flower shop was busy until late. By the time I got off work, it was almost midnight. The buses had stopped running, so I walked home slowly. But on the way, I kept feeling like someone was following me. Up ahead was a narrow stretch with no streetlights. There wasn't a soul around at this hour. I could only walk faster and faster. Finally, I started jogging. But I noticed the footsteps behind me seemed to speed up too. I panicked and fell to the ground. Feeling someone approaching, I screamed and backed away. New stories about dismemberment and assault filled my mind. When I felt someone grab my wrist, tears finally fell. No, please let me go, please. I'm sick, really, I have no money, please, let me go. Someone help me out. I kicked and fought against the person in front of me. But suddenly, I was pulled into a tight embrace. Shan Shan. It's me, I'm here, it's me. Hearing the man's voice, I suddenly froze. Suddenly, I remembered my past life. From age 5 to 15. I was truly happy. Mother Ji was gentle, Father Ji was kind. Especially my brother Jizi, he stayed by my side whether at school or after class. Back then Jizi was already a college freshman. Tall, handsome, and always putting me first. Jizi easily made me fall for him. He was the main character in my diary, and my innocent teenage crush. But everything changed that day. Jizi was no longer the Jizi I love. I know he doesn't like me. I know he doesn't like my smile. I also know that after what happened between us, Jizi hates me even more. But, was that what I wanted? I don't even know how I got into Jizi's room. I don't know why I ended up with Jizi. I was just trying to go to the bathroom to splash cold water on my face. But somehow I ended up with Jizi. And I got pregnant. My life was ruined. In the end, I died too. In this lifetime, I don't want anything to do with the Ji family. But Jizi just wouldn't let me go. He wanted me to get close to that family again. He made me remember what happened in my past life over. Made me feel envious and jealous of Ji Ying. Ji Ying is so wonderful, So wonderful she was willing to give me one of her kidneys. But she doesn't know how fake my kindness to her was. Because I knew, as the adopted daughter of the Ji family, only by making Ji Ying my everything could I earn the approval of everyone in the Ji family. Jizi held me as I nearly fell apart. He couldn't say a word. After a long while, I pulled myself out of his arms and went back to my rental. I don't know how Jizi found this place. And I don't want to know why he came after me. I mean, in my past life, he hated me so much. For the next few days, Jizi kept quietly following me around. I didn't want to deal with it, didn't want to ask. But even the flower shop owner noticed something was off. She asked me if I was fighting with my boyfriend. I could only walk out in silence. I didn't want to lose this job. I stubbornly refused to spend another cent of the Ji family's money. I know it's stupid. But I just felt, even if I'm going to die, I don't want to use another penny from the Ji family. Just let me leave this world with a clean slate. Is that too much to ask? Seeing Jizi look at me in disbelief, I realized I'd just said my thoughts out loud. I said, let me leave with a clean slate. Is that too much to ask? I saw tears welling up in Jizi's eyes. I saw him looking at me in shock. Saw the pain in his eyes. I heard him say, I'm sorry. My condition seemed to get worse fast. When I went into the ICU again, I was transferred back to the capital. Ji Ying knelt down and begged me again. Shanshan, sis, please, I'm begging you. Let me save you, okay? Okay? I weakly grabbed Ji Ying's hand and shook my head again. This was the first time Ji Ying called me sis. I was so happy. But no matter how many times she called me that, I couldn't accept one of her kidneys. If this were before, I refused because I couldn't bear to go through it again. What if something happened to Ji Ying because of me? I couldn't imagine how the Ji family would treat me again. But now I won't accept it because I really can't ruin the rest of Ji Ying's life. Mrs. Ji aged a lot during this time too. That elegant rich lady now had much deeper crow's feet. I know, she's conflicted, full of regret. Because after that time, Ji Ying still won't talk to her. She also thinks she's been a terrible foster mother. Because her selfishness made my condition deteriorate so fast. But honestly, I don't resent Mrs. J anymore. Because I know not only did Ji Ying get tested, Mrs. G did too. Unfortunately, her kidney wasn't a match for me. But Mrs. G never mentioned any of this. Just as the Ji family was drowning in gloom, we suddenly got a call from the hospital. They found the kidney donor for me. I made up an excuse about trouble at the overseas office, said I had to go on a business trip. My mom complained about me, said Shanshan finally found the match and was about to have surgery. And here I was, her brother, not caring at all. Then she went on and on about how all these years I kept ignoring Shanshan. She said, they're both your sisters, but you always remember Ji Ying's birthday, and never Shanshan's. In this family you're the only one who treats Shanshan like an outsider. I smiled bitterly. Truth is, with Shanshan, at first I didn't know how to face her. Seeing her always made me think of my past life. Think about how my dad, my mom, and I treated Shanshan back then. I knew very well that Ji Ying's death in my past life had nothing to do with Shanshan. But back then, we were all blinded by grief. So I watched Shanshan get bullied time after time, get humiliated, and I gritted my teeth and pretended not to see. As if that way, Shanshan could hurt as much as I did. Ji Ying died, so Shanshan should suffer too. I even lashed out at her with cruel words. Right up until Shanshan got drugged. That day, I overheard at school that Shanshan had been drugged. So I rushed back. I just didn't expect that when Shanshan saw me, she clung to me and wouldn't let go. I didn't control myself. After that night, I regretted it too. But I still couldn't help saying cruel things to Shanshan. When I found out Shanshan was pregnant, I panicked and sent her to the operating table. That day, she desperately begged me, said no, but I still went ahead. In that life, it wasn't until Shanshan died that I realized I was scum. In this new life, I brought Ji Ying back. And I brought Shanshan back too. I thought I was making amends. But gradually, I realized Shanshan didn't seem happy. I wasn't blind to the fact that Shanshan was avoiding us at the orphanage. But I insisted on believing the Ji family could give Shanshan a better life. Besides, in my past life the Ji family wronged Shanshan. So this life, when Shanshan wanted to attend First High, wanted to go thousands of miles away, I convinced the family to agree. What Shanshan doesn't know is during her 2 years of college, I went to see her more than once. The library, the milk tea shop, even outside her dorm. Until that time she suddenly got hospitalized. I saw how my mom opposed Ji Ying donating a kidney. I also saw that my mom not only got tested herself, but dragged my dad to secretly get tested too. But unfortunately, I had a hunch and secretly got tested myself. Heaven was watching. My kidney was a match for Shanshan. I used going abroad as an excuse, but ended up in the same operating room as Shanshan. Just a curtain between us. I knew Shanshan was right there. Before surgery, I told the doctor, Shanshan seems to have a clotting disorder. Please be fully prepared. The surgery was a success. I transferred to another hospital to recover. Parents and sister were all so happy. They all sent me messages saying the surgery went well. Later, Shanshan went back to finish college. As for me, I actually found that losing one kidney, my life didn't really change much. If not for that extra scar on my body, sometimes I'd even forget I was missing a kidney. After I recovered, I went back to checking on Shanshan out of habit. I knew her grades were excellent, and that she joined a very prestigious research lab in her senior year. Then one time, I saw Shanshan coming out of the campus gate. Next to her was a man. They looked really close. The shy look in Shanshan's eyes, the smile she couldn't hold back, it all made my chest ache so bad I couldn't breathe. I figured maybe during the last surgery, the doctor got it wrong. Give half my heart to Shanshan. Otherwise, why would it hurt so much?